Welcome back to another episode of my Forever World. In the last episode, we built that silo behind me, and in today's episode, I'm going to be adding to my area and creating a barn as well as a greenhouse. So, I've already built a melon and pumpkin farm below here, and I'll add in some redstone to push it up into push both of these up into chests above. But I already have all the materials for the barn. That way I can also move my horses into that and move the farmers I have over there, as I moved all my villagers over there from over that in that village. The style is the same as this. It's the same blocks, except a bit of pale oak as well. But I think let's just get right into building this barn. Man, I love this view. The trees I put in at the end of the last episode, and the birds using candles, and the barn, the silo, little farming area. Just after coming out my house, it just is really nice. You just get a little area. This whole island will have building, well, not fully buildings, but it's gonna be almost a farming island. But yeah, I mean, the only real design difference is the glass panes to give different colours, different shades. And also, if you look at barns, the planks of wood go down, so I used the grey stained glass to do that. And then just there's always some white in a barn, so I used pale oak for that. But yeah, I mean, we got the horses in here. We got the main horses I'll use for breeding. I think these two are the faster ones, and these two are the really good jumpers, and then the skeleton horses over here. And I'll probably bring in farmer maybe to make it look like he's tending to these places, making them look a bit better. I'll probably add in maybe a cauldron with some water in the corners and at the back, just so they don't go over. But I don't know if that would work, or I put it in the ground and then have some hay maybe just under these windows. But yeah, I mean, also a thing I did quite like when I designed this was this. You can often see on the side of barns these like ladder bits, and I thought I'd try using gates as ladders, and I think it works really well, so I did that on both sides. And then yeah, just get the roof shape for it, and then I didn't have enough blackstone really to do any texturing, so it's just a plain roof at the moment. But yeah, really good build. And then just 2 little holes here that I'll figure out at some point for melons, and then pumpkins over there. But yeah, I really like this build. It's all lit up as well, except there was one spot, so I just put a button over the top, somewhere over the, yeah, over there in that corner. And then had this part dangling down with a lantern. I just have to wax these a bit. But yeah, I think a really nice build to go in this little area. And now I just need to bring the path round, probably from about there, bring it around, curl it into that, and then also have that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that it curves like that, then curves like that, and also comes back in, so there will be this almost triangle about there where people are just walking the desired route that they would want. But these tools aren't gonna cut it for very much longer, so as the builds get bigger, I'm gonna need more durability, and have a pretty big project planned for over there, over in that direction. So I think it's time to upgrade all this to netherite, and I have found probably the quickest and best way to get netherite. So if I go into my house, just quickly get rid of this. So what you're gonna need, if I have anything, which I don't think I actually do have the thing I need, which is a bit annoying, but I can just go out and grab it quickly. Here we go. This is what I need. I need magma cream to make a fire resistance potion. Just don't get hit into the lava. Almost dying there because trying to clear this lava up, just couldn't. But I got 1 magma cream, which is all I'm gonna need for this. Only need 1 to make a fire resistance potion. So go back to base and make the fire resistant potions, and I'll show you the best way to make netherite, well, to get netherite gear. So I'll do that now. Okay, back into the nether, and I have fire resistance potions and a lot of fireworks, because if I go down this way, there it leads towards a lava lake outside of either a soul sand valley or a basalt delta. Those are the worst biomes for this. We want something like this. So what you're going to need to do splash yourself with the fire resistance, go down, make sure you have something that gets rid of lava fog, and just fly around. This isn't the best place, but if you find a much larger place, and as you can see over there's some ancient debris, and because netherite doesn't burn in lava, it's the best way to do it. So just fly around for a bit and see how much you can get. So I'll see how much I can get doing this method within the 24 minutes of potion time I have, and I'll upgrade all my gear. So I'll see you then. I used 2 potions, and so I had about 16 minutes, and I was able to get 40 ancient debris, but I mainly stopped because you might notice I accidentally dropped my pickaxe in lava, my silk touch pickaxe in lava. So when I went to eat, so yeah, it uses a lot of rockets, but if you've got a gunpowder farm and a sugarcane farm, it is a really good way to get a lot of ancient debris in a very short amount of time. So yeah, you might notice this is something I've done. It's just a librarian pushed into a block with a soul lantern to light it up on 2 layers of snow, and because it's inside that stair, it won't suffocate, but also it won't move. So I'll just get something to silence the mobs, and yeah, this will be a really good addition to this house. It's just looks like a book on a table without having to add any mods, just plain vanilla. Anyone can do this. You just have to make sure you push down or push into this villager, and then you can position him by pushing him around to wherever you want. Now I need to grab about 40. I do have a little bit more of ancient debris, but it won't actually make a difference. So I need about 40 gold, and then wait for this to smelt, and then I can upgrade everything to netherite. And I think in here, yeah, I'm going to also use some of this and maybe put some trims on. I'll need to duplicate this, and I have more than enough diamonds to do that. So let me quickly go over to my storage, grab some netherrack, grab this, and then yeah, I mean, just look at that view we've added to in today's episode. I do little bits off camera, I do play off camera obviously, just try things out. So I tried this out, chains instead of the spruce signs, and I think I prefer it. And from distance, it's actually visible. So let's quickly just grab some of this. Okay, how much do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm gonna need 9 smithing templates. There we go. I might keep this there. I can put one of them back in my bundle full of armor trims. And now I've got 10 netherite ingots. Don't know why I put that back. I need to just put the gold back. Wait. There we go. Now I can upgrade, not that, this, my gear into netherite. And I'm just gonna, actually I need the rib template for that. I do have one spare. So, let me quickly, where did I put the netherrack in there. Do this. Now the boots also fit, and then I have 2 more for a. In fact, I have my old netherite boots somewhere, but my old diamond boots, I think, in here. Okay, where did I put them then? I must have put them in one of these, probably in here. Yeah, it's them. So I can now upgrade this, but I probably won't. So because I need to go make a new pickaxe. Put that in there for now, though. But yeah, I need to make a new pickaxe. And then I need to max it out with enchantments. See what pickaxes I have in here. See if anything. Okay, I got Silk Touch, and I probably could make it from these. There. I think those all should make us double check efficiency 4 on both of these. So I need to override the fortune with Silk Touch. And then just need to upgrade it. So that costs 11 and that costs 8, and now we do that, and I'll just rename it to Silk Pick. There we go. Silk Pick. Now all I need to do is upgrade it to netherite. There we go. Full, mostly full netherite gear with and full netherite tools. And this is a good time, I think. But let me sleep first, and then I can start on the next build, which is going to be a greenhouse for all my foliage farms, and maybe a moss farm, which will be underground probably, and have it push up, because that in here I've moved I've covered the moss farm, that I used to get a lot of bone meal. But I think it's time to start building this greenhouse. I already got all the materials, so let's get right into this build. Okay, I have finished building the greenhouse, as you can see. Probably have seen this design in other places. I know Sinnoh did a very similar design, partly inspired by him, as well as I think B-Dubs did one on his single player world. But yeah, it's very simple, just a layer of white stained glass and then the third stage of copper lightning rods and everything else. And I decided to use copper golems at the top just to thicken it and make it look a bit more stable at the top, or more put together, maybe. I don't know. Just add in a bit more to it. And it does, well, there it gives a little bit of a curve. And then if you look at the roof, pretty basic. Used mossy cobble stairs because it's probably the closest to the copper, and then green candles across, giving it a little bit of spikiness. And yeah, this will be where all my farms go, and I was playing about with some redstone over in the barn and the melon farm to see if I can get something to work where I shoot the items up into chests or barrels. So here we have a barrel which is loaded up with melons, as the melon farm shoots up after being crafted into blocks, shoots out into the chest, goes down into the dispenser, detects it through the comparator, shoots them out, does the same here, which you can see goes into this hopper and sends it into a line of droppers. And then when it's in the bottom one, same premise here, takes the signal out, makes it 15 strength, moves it around in a circle, and observer observes the changes with the light and the other one, because that was the way that I worked out how to send it up, because it's 3 different ones. It does power these pistons, but that's fine. It's something I'm willing to sacrifice. Yeah, you should see the pistons go off, but that's something I don't mind about. But yeah, you can see a bit more melons in there, and hopefully I'll do the same here, and then I'll make some more farms. Maybe off camera, or maybe I'll do it this episode or in another episode and just make some farms. I'm gonna put the bone meal farm back down in here, maybe in one of the corners, maybe like in this corner, and then go from there, because everything I need is in here. So yeah, and I did do the path all the way to the path that I had done, and then added over path here. Gotta texture this, but I gotta go probably mine some blackstone. So yeah, I also decided to make this part go out there, and did the same texturing I did on the inside of the barn. I'm thinking of trying to find a way I can take the mud into it, and I'm thinking dripstone and then maybe coral, or just straight into mossy cobble. I think that would work nicely for this part here, because I want it to be a bit more worn down. But I do also need to try and maybe have a place, because at the moment that doesn't really make too much sense, because there's not really a way the logs come out of there, unless I just have this from somewhere else and it's like being delivered, or I have a opening there that gets taken out or something. I don't know. But yeah, move the happy garden here and moved the farmers, and then decorated it. I was wanting to make like a shovel or something, so I used 2 chains and a pale oak shelf. I'd put it up against here because then it looks like it's leaning. So if I go to, and I did 2 just to add a little bit more. And I think, especially from certain angles, it looks really nice. And I mean, up close, like here, this angle, it just doesn't really make sense. But once you start stepping back, it looks really good. Added in cauldrons, then added in hay bales up there, and using signs to hold them in place. I'm not sure of how much I like it, but it works for the moment. So yeah. And I think at the end of the last episode I added trees here, and I'm just coming from that way. Whenever I come and look at my base, I feel like there needs to be trees here. But here, all these path blocks, I'm gonna probably put these trees, as I did just take the schematics of them. Well, make a schematic of them, because this one I really like, especially from like this angle, looking at it. I think that's probably my best one I've done, and just rotated them. Like, I think that one's there now, and it's rotated that way. But yeah, maybe I'll make some new ones. I don't know. I mean, those ones over there now don't look as good and might need some work. Like that block there just sticks out. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this area is coming along. But I do think where I currently have my villagers, it does need to be something here. So if you have any ideas of what I could put there, let me know in the comments. Yeah, I'm thinking I might cover this over, this part, this cave, and just have that one as my main cave. But yeah, maybe I'll make the farms for another episode and call it farm making, because the grass farm and the fern farm I have are of my own design. At least I think that I've not seen. Well, the grass farm's pretty similar to every other grass farm out there. I just added a minecart to it, really. So yeah, and the fern farm, I've seen other ones like it, but I tried. I mean, it's a fern farm. It's only really gonna be able to do one way in this biome. If it was over in a spruce, you could just add it onto a grass farm, and you got a fern farm. So yeah, and I might need to make something for the other crops, which I don't know if I want to put here or over in the barn, over in there or over in the barn, because it is really annoying when I need packed mud to come here, break it all, or break most of it, and then replant, and then it has to look ugly like this for quite a while. So I'll find a farm design for that. And then yeah, so I think that'll be my next episode, making different farms. But yeah, I think the next episode I'll do something in a different area, because I already have a build ready on my creative world. So yeah, that's going to be secret till the next episode. But yeah, this place is really coming along. Did a bit of Terraform there, but I don't know if I mentioned it. Can't remember if I mentioned that. But thank you so much for watching. Actually, and yeah, in between, because I was a bit bored and I wasn't recording, I went out and did a bit more netherite mining, and got myself enough netherite to upgrade all the tools I have. So even the spear and the two holes that I have, the boots, and add silence trims to everything, so it looks a bit better. And it is pretty basic. There's a lot of people that use this, but hey, I like it, so I'm gonna keep it. But thank you for watching this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one.